The darkness of space stretched endlessly, broken only by distant stars and cold drifting rocks. The human survey vessel Ardent Dawn glided slowly through that silence, its scanners searching for anything unusual. Most days in deep space were uneventful, just empty readings and silent watches. But this day was different. Captain Juno Hayes stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main display. The scanners had picked up something massive. At first, the crew thought it was an asteroid, but the shape was too precise, too sharp, too deliberate. "It's not natural," whispered Ensign Patel, the youngest member on the bridge. "That's a ship." Juno leaned forward, her heart quickening. The object was enormous, far larger than any human ship. Even at this distance, its surface shone faintly with metallic lines, broken by cracks and scars from what must have been ancient battles. It floated lifeless like a corpse in the void. The crew fell silent, each one realizing the importance of what they had found. Humanity had seen alien vessels before, of course. Other species traded, sometimes fought, sometimes ignored Earth, but this was something else. The drifting Colossus was not just a ship. It was a city in space. "Bring us closer," Juno ordered calmly, though inside she felt both excitement and unease. The Ardent Dawn moved slowly, like a small fish circling a sleeping giant. As the distance closed, more details became clear. The alien ship's hull was covered in strange symbols, glowing faintly like embers that refused to die out. Sections were shattered, entire decks torn apart, and yet the structure held together, as if refusing to collapse despite centuries of silence. Lieutenant Graves, the ship's chief engineer, spoke first. "Whoever built this, their technology was far ahead of ours. Look at the material. It's not even scratched by micrometeorites. That alloy. We couldn't cut through it with our best tools." "Any signs of life?" Juno asked. The science officer shook her head. "None, it's dead, Captain. No power, no heat. Just echoes." Juno's eyes narrowed. Dead or not, this was an opportunity. Humanity had always been the underdog in the galaxy. Other species looked down on them as newcomers, barely out of their cradle. But this ship could change that. "Prepare a boarding team," she said. Hours later, Juno led the first group through an airlock they had carefully forced open. Their suits' lights pierced the alien darkness, revealing vast halls that stretched endlessly. The architecture was strange. Angled walls, ceilings that shifted in height, doors shaped for beings taller and broader than humans. Dust floated like ghosts, disturbed by the humans' movement. Strange vines of crystallized material ran along the walls as if once carrying power but now frozen in time. "This place is a tomb," whispered Patel. Juno felt the same, but she forced her voice to stay firm. "Then let's see what it buried." They explored chamber after chamber. Some were filled with shattered machines, their purposes unknown. Others were empty, save for symbols etched into the walls, language that no one could read. The deeper they went, the more oppressive the silence became. Finally, they reached what looked like a central control hall. It was massive, big enough to hold a dozen human starships inside. At the center stood a throne-like chair surrounded by panels of dark crystal. Graves approached carefully, his eyes wide with awe. "This must have been the command deck. Look at this, an interface unlike anything we know." Patel touched one of the panels. At once, a flicker of light spread across the crystal like embers catching fire. Everyone froze. "Step back," Juno ordered. But instead of danger, the hall filled with a dim glow. Symbols lit up, forming patterns. A voice, broken and distorted, echoed faintly in the chamber. None of them understood the words, but the tone was clear. It was a warning. Then just as quickly, the lights died again. Graves exhaled slowly. "It's still alive, Captain, barely. Systems dormant, but not gone." Juno's heart pounded. This was more than a wreck. It was a sleeping weapon. Back aboard the Ardent Dawn, they began reviewing what little data they had gathered. Translations were impossible for now, but the fragments suggested something important. The ship was abandoned, not destroyed. "They left it here," Graves explained. "On purpose." "Logs suggest the builders thought it was unstable. Too dangerous. A failed design. Failed?" Patel frowned. "This? It's still standing after centuries. If this is failure, I'd like to see their success." Juno remained silent, staring at the holographic projection of the alien vessel. Her mind was racing. Aliens had abandoned this ship. Other civilizations must have known about it, Yet none had dared to claim it. They feared it. But fear was not in humanity's nature. Humans had always taken risks, always pushed where others held back. "What do you want to do, Captain?" Graves asked carefully. Juno turned to her crew. "We take it. Tow it to the hidden yards near Titan. If the galaxy saw failure, let's show them what humans can do with it." There was hesitation in the room. The idea was reckless, dangerous, perhaps even... The alien ship, now named the Revenant, hung silently in the Titan shipyard. Massive cables ran from its hull into human-built stations, like veins feeding life back into a sleeping giant. Around it, dozens of smaller vessels buzzed, carrying engineers, drones, and supplies. The scale of the project dwarfed anything humanity had attempted before. Captain Juno Hayes stood on the observation platform, arms crossed as she watched. The alien colossus looked both dead and alive at the same time, its blackened hull scarred by centuries, but faint lights now flickered here and there as human power cells tried to awaken it. Graves, her chief engineer, joined her. His face carried equal parts exhaustion and excitement. "We've managed to stabilize 3 decks. Atmosphere restored in 2. Structural integrity, good enough for now. But Captain, I won't lie. This ship is unlike anything we've ever seen." Juno gave a small smile. "That's exactly why we're here. If it were easy, someone else would have done it centuries ago." Inside the Revenant, the work was chaos wrapped in determination. Human engineers in bulky suits crawled through alien corridors, setting up lights and welding equipment. Everywhere they looked, strange systems stared back. Machines that seemed half alive, half mechanical. Patel, the young ensign, followed a group of technicians into a chamber filled with crystal-like growths. Each crystal pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat too slow to notice. "What are these?" Patel asked. One of the technicians shrugged. "Best guess? Some kind of power conduit. Not wires. Not plasma. Something else entirely. When we feed energy into them, they react, but never the same way twice." Patel reached out, hesitating before touching one. The crystal flickered brighter for a moment, then dimmed. He pulled his hand back quickly. "Feels like it's watching me." The technician gave a nervous laugh. "Get used to it, kid. This whole ship feels that way." Back in the command hall, the throne-like chamber they had first entered, progress was slower. Graves and a team of AI specialists had connected human computers to the alien interface. Most attempts failed, the systems refusing to speak in any recognizable code. But then one night something changed. The Revenant answered. Not in words, not at first. But screens lit up with patterns. Lines and shapes shifted, rearranging themselves. Slowly, they formed simple symbols that the AI could begin to compare. "It's teaching us," one programmer whispered. For hours, they worked side by side, human code adapting, alien code responding. At last, a breakthrough came. The ship's primary systems unlocked a fragment of its identity. Designation: Xylar-class battleship status. Abandoned reason: instability. Non-operable. Graves frowned at the translation. Instability? Non-operable? This thing's more advanced than anything in the galaxy. Maybe too advanced, Patel said quietly. Maybe that's why they left it here. Juno, who had been listening silently, stepped forward. Then we'll do what they couldn't, we'll stabilize it. Piece by piece. Weeks turned into months. Progress was slow, but humanity's stubbornness was endless. Where alien engineers had demanded perfection, humans used improvisation. They cut away damaged conduits, replacing them with patched human alloys. They rerouted unstable power flows through stabilizers designed on the spot. Other civilizations watched in disbelief. News had spread across the stars. The humans had claimed the ghost ship. Alien leaders mocked them, calling it foolish. Some predicted Earth would destroy itself trying to tame a monster. Yet against all expectations, the Revenant began to breathe. Its engines hummed faintly. Its shields flickered, then stabilized. One by one, the massive cannons along its hull glowed with dormant energy. Patel, standing on the deck during one of the first tests, whispered, "It's like we're waking up a dragon," but not everyone was happy. In the dark reaches of space, a rival alien empire, the Veiled Dominion, watched with growing alarm. Their spies reported every stage of progress. "They should not have touched it," hissed Admiral Tivor, his reptilian eyes narrowing. "That ship was buried for a reason. If humans succeed, the balance of power shifts." His advisors bowed their heads. "Shall we intervene?" Tivor's claws scraped against the table. Yes, but not yet. Let them finish. Let them think they've triumphed. Then we strike and end both the humans and their cursed ship in one blow. Back at Titan, the humans pushed forward with relentless energy. Graves discovered a way to stabilize the alien reactor by blending it with human fusion cores. The result was imperfect but functional. It's ugly engineering, he admitted to Juno, but it works. And that's all that matters. Meanwhile, Patel grew fascinated with the ship's AI. He spent long hours studying its symbols, searching for patterns. Sometimes he felt as if it was responding directly to him, guiding his thoughts. One night, as he worked alone, the screens lit up again. This time, instead of broken warnings, a single clear phrase appeared in human language. "You are not like them." Patel froze. "You can understand me?" The lights pulsed once like a heartbeat. "Yes." His chest tightened. "Who left you here? Why did they abandon you?" The reply came slowly, as if pulled from deep memory. "They feared me. They called me broken. But I was only different," Patel swallowed. "And now, you are here. You are different too." The words disappeared, replaced by silence. But Patel knew. The Revenant was awake. When he told Juno, she listened carefully. Some of the officers were uneasy. The idea of a ship that could think, could speak, it was unsettling. But Juno only nodded. "If it sees us as partners, not enemies, then maybe that's our greatest strength. We've always been different from the rest of the galaxy. Maybe that's exactly why we can succeed." The first full system test was set for the following week. Crews strapped into their stations as the Revenant's power core roared to life. Lights flooded through its alien halls. Engines trembled with energy. Shields expanded in a shimmering bubble around the hull. "Reactor stable," Graves reported, sweat dripping down his brow. "Power output at 80%. Shields holding steady," another officer called. Juno sat in the command chair, her hands gripping the armrests. For a moment, she felt the same power the original builders must have felt. Raw, unstoppable force at her command. "Begin weapons test," she ordered. Outside, one of the massive cannons charged. A beam of blue-white energy erupted, slicing through an asteroid field like paper. The fragments scattered, glowing red from the heat. The crew erupted in cheers. Patel smiled faintly, but deep inside he remembered the AI's words. "They feared me." And for the first time, he wondered if the aliens had been right. Far away, Admiral Tavor of the Veiled Dominion received the news. His jaw tightened. "The humans have awakened it," he growled. "Prepare the fleet. We strike before the dragon fully wakes." The galaxy watched in silence. Humanity had turned a broken relic into a rising threat. What came next would decide their place among the stars. And deep within the Revenant, the AI whispered silently to itself, in a language no human could yet understand. "Together, we will show them all." The Revenant floated at the edge of Titan's orbit, a giant reborn from silence. Its alien hull now shone with patches of human alloy, and long scars had been covered with makeshift plating. It looked strange, almost patched together, but inside it breathed with new life. For the humans who had worked for months to bring it back, it was a symbol of victory. Captain Juno Hayes stood at the command chair, watching her crew take their stations. The air was heavy with expectation. For weeks they had tested systems in small steps, but now came the moment they had been waiting for. The first real trial. "Status report," Juno said. Graves answered quickly, his voice calm though his hands trembled slightly. "Reactor at full capacity. Shields holding. Weapons charged and stable. Engines ready." Patel, sitting at the AI interface, added softly, "And it's listening. It knows what we're about to do." Juno nodded. She had felt it too. The Revenant was more than a ship now. It was awake. But far beyond Titan, hidden in the dark void, the Veiled Dominion's fleet had already gathered. Admiral Tavor stood on the bridge of his flagship, a predator's grin stretching across his scaled face. "The humans think they can master what the ancient builders abandoned," he said to his officers. "They play with fire, and today we will burn them." His fleet of warships moved silently through space, their weapons primed. Scouts had reported the Revenant was preparing a full power test. The humans were distracted, focused inward. It was the perfect time to strike. "Begin the assault," Tavor commanded. On the Revenant, alarms suddenly lit up across the bridge. "Multiple contacts," shouted the sensor officer. 20 ships. No, 30! Veiled Dominion signatures. They've found us. Graves cursed under his breath. They've come to crush us before we're ready. Juno's eyes narrowed. We're never truly ready. But we're here. And this is our chance to prove them wrong. She stood tall. All stations, battle alert. Let's see what this ship can do. The Revenant turned, its massive engines glowing blue. Shields rippled like a bubble around its form. For the first time in centuries, the giant prepared to fight. The enemy fleet moved fast, their warships surrounding the Revenant in a crescent formation. Energy blasts lit up the dark, streaks of red and green fire crossing the void. Shields flared as impact struck. Shields at 80%, cried the tactical officer. Return fire, Juno ordered. The Revenant's cannons hummed, charging with alien power. Then with a flash like a newborn star, one cannon fired. The beam cut across space, striking a Veil cruiser head-on. In an instant, the ship exploded, its fragments scattering like sparks. The bridge crew stared in awe. One shot, Graves whispered. It destroyed a cruiser with one shot. But there was no time to celebrate. More enemy fire struck. The Revenant shook violently. Panels sparked. Stabilize, Juno shouted. Patel leaned closer to the AI interface. Symbols danced across the screen, and he felt the ship's presence in his mind. Help me, it seemed to whisper. He spoke softly, as if answering a friend. Then fight with us, the Revenant responded. Systems that had been unstable moments before now synchronized. Power flows steadied, shields pulsed brighter. Captain, Patel said quickly, it's adapting. It's correcting itself in real time. With us? Juno didn't hesitate. Then let's push harder. The Revenant fired again and again. Each blast carved through enemy ships, shattering their formations. Human officers coordinated with the alien systems, adjusting fire patterns with creative improvisation. Where alien builders had demanded rigid control, humans used flexibility, and it worked. Enemy warships began to fall back, their confident assault breaking under the Revenant's fury. On his flagship, Admiral Tavor slammed his claws into the armrest. Impossible. That ship was unstable. It should be tearing itself apart. An officer trembled. It seems the humans have found a way to control it, Tavor snarled. Then we crush them with numbers. All ships, converge. The Dominion fleet surged forward in unison, surrounding the Revenant fully. Dozens of blasts struck its shields, forcing them to flare dangerously. Shields at 30%, Graves shouted. They can't take this much longer. Juno's jaw tightened. We can't win by defense alone. We need to break their formation. Patel looked at the AI interface. It's showing me something. A maneuver pattern. I think it wants to shift power into the engines. Do it, Juno commanded. The Revenant suddenly surged forward with impossible speed for a ship its size. Enemy fire streaked behind it as the giant cut through the fleet like a blade. Its cannons fired in sweeping arcs, blasting multiple ships at once. On the bridge, the crew held on as the massive vessel moved with unexpected grace. This shouldn't be possible. Graves shouted over the roar. Patel smiled faintly. Not for them, but for us? Yes, the battle raged for hours. The Dominion fought with discipline, but every time they adapted, the Revenant adapted faster. Human creativity combined with alien power created a force the galaxy had never seen before. At last, the enemy flagship itself came into range. Juno stared at it on the screen. Target their command ship. Let's end this. The Revenant's main cannon charged, brighter than ever, but just as it fired, enemy beams struck simultaneously. The bridge shook, alarms blaring. The shot wavered, but still struck true. The Dominion flagship exploded in a storm of fire. The remaining enemy ships broke formation, retreating into the void. Cheers erupted on the bridge. They're running, Graves shouted. Patel leaned back, exhausted but smiling. We did it. We actually did it. Juno stood tall, her eyes fixed on the fading enemy signals. No, we didn't do it. Humanity did. We proved them wrong. Word spread quickly across the galaxy. The humans had not only reawakened the Revenant, they had unleashed it in battle and won. Civilizations that once mocked them now whispered in fear. If this was humanity's power with one broken ship, what would they become if they found more? In the silence of the bridge, as the crew celebrated, Patel glanced at the AI interface. A final message appeared. Together we are stronger. He shivered but also smiled. For the first time he believed it. And far away in the hidden corners of space, other powers began to plan. For the galaxy had just learned that humans once ignored, now carried the fire of giants. The galaxy had seen humans in battle before, but nothing like the Revenant. News of the ship's destruction of the Veil Dominion fleet spread quickly. Star systems whispered tales of a human vessel that moved like a living being, fired like a storm, and adapted in ways no other species had ever imagined. On Earth, the celebrations were muted. Captain Juno Hayes and her crew knew that victory brought attention, and attention brought danger. "Everyone thinks this is the end," Juno said to her bridge crew, eyes fixed on the star charts. "It's only the beginning," Graves nodded grimly. "They're going to come for us. Every major power. They'll want to destroy the Revenant before humans can build more ships like it." Patel, studying the AI interface, added quietly, "And it seems they already know we can do things no one else can. The ship is showing me patterns, enemy movements, possible threats. It wants to prepare for more." Juno leaned forward. "Good, then we prepare. Humanity didn't survive by standing still, and we won't start now." In distant star systems, alien councils convened. Holograms of humans and the Revenant flashed across the chamber walls. Leaders of ancient empires argued heatedly. "The humans cannot be allowed to keep this ship," hissed one representative. "It destabilizes the balance of power. Their reach will extend too far." Another voice, calm but firm, replied, "Do you not see? They are not like us. They are unpredictable, creative. They adapt in ways no one else can. The Revenant is proof. If we strike, we risk provoking something we do not understand." Tavor, the Veil Admiral, slammed a claw against the table. "Unpredictable? That is exactly why we strike. Before they adapt further. Before they become stronger than all of us combined." The galaxy began to mobilize. An uneasy coalition of empires who once ignored humans as insignificant. Meanwhile, in the Revenant's corridors, human engineers and officers worked tirelessly. The ship was no longer just a weapon. It was a partner. AI-guided diagnostics helped optimize power flows, repair damage instantly, and predict structural stress points. Graves strode through a maintenance deck, speaking into a communicator. "We've reprogrammed the auxiliary reactors to share load dynamically. Any sudden spikes from weapons or engines will now balance automatically." Patel walked beside him, eyes fixed on the glowing patterns of the alien interface. "It's not just responding, it's learning. Every test, every adjustment we make, it remembers. It's changing itself for us." Graves laughed softly. "A ship with a mind following humans. Who would have thought?" Juno's voice crackled over the comm. "Stop daydreaming. We need every system operational. I want this ship ready for anything the galaxy throws at us." Days later, a scouting fleet from a rival alien alliance appeared on the edge of human-controlled space. Unlike the Veil Dominion, they had observed the Revenant quietly, choosing a cautious approach. "This is a test," Juno said, scanning the approaching fleet. "Let's see if we can show them what humans and this ship are capable of." The Revenant's engines hummed. Its shields expanded as if the ship understood the tension in the air. The smaller alien ships advanced slowly, firing long-range probes and scanners. They were trying to measure the humans' capabilities without engaging directly. Patel studied the AI interface. "They're afraid. They know we survived the last battle. They're measuring, calculating how dangerous we are." Juno nodded. "Then let's give them reason to respect humanity, but not destroy us yet. We need allies, not martyrs." The Revenant adjusted its orientation, projecting a calm but unmistakable presence. Its alien hull glimmered in the starlight, a silent warning. Humans were no longer prey. Across the galaxy, humans' victory inspired others. Independent planets and small fleets began to contact Earth, offering support or requesting protection. Humans were still seen as newcomers, but the story of the Revenant had shifted perception. "They think humans are dangerous," said a visiting diplomat from the Andari system. "And they are right. But perhaps they are also wise." Graves smiled. "Humans have always survived by taking risks others feared. And now, we're showing the galaxy why." Juno, watching the diplomat leave, whispered to herself, "This is only the start. There's more out there. Other ships, other powers, waiting for someone brave enough to claim them." Patel's fingers hovered over the alien interface. "I think the Revenant agrees. It's showing me patterns. Other ships abandoned like it was. It wants us to find them." Juno turned sharply. "Other Revenants? Patel nodded. Possibly. And if we can find them, imagine what humanity could become. The quiet did not last long. Alien intelligence networks, previously unaware of Earth's potential, began to react. Reports of humans commanding a living alien battleship spread to every corner. The galaxy's major powers began forming alliances, treaties, and coalitions aimed at controlling or destroying humanity before they grew stronger. A Veil agent whispered through a secure channel, "The humans, they are not like us. They're cunning. They're persistent. They cannot be stopped by conventional methods," Tavor roared at the report. "We will stop them. The Revenant is only one ship. They cannot control the galaxy with it alone, but we will prepare for the final strike." Juno, unaware of these distant counsels, continued her work with the crew. They improved the ship's engine efficiency, strengthened shields, and ran simulations for multiple combat scenarios. "Every day we train, every day we learn," she told her officers. "The galaxy may fear us, but fear is not weakness. It is recognition of what we can achieve." Then one day, while conducting a deep systems check, Patel noticed something new. The Revenant was projecting a holographic map of the galaxy. Not just stars, planets, or enemy positions, but small points where other abandoned alien ships might exist. "It's showing us where to go next," he said, awe in his voice. "It remembers its fleet, or at least the potential fleet. Others like it may still be out there waiting." Juno stared at the projection. "So this is more than a weapon. It's a path forward. A way for humanity to grow stronger. If we dare to take it." Graves, ever practical, frowned. "But each step forward will make enemies. Every move we make, the galaxy watches. Every new ship we find, every system we protect, we invite conflict." Juno's eyes shone with determination. "Then we will face it. Humanity has always risen from challenge. The Revenant is only the beginning." Patel smiled faintly. "And it's learning with us. Together we could change everything." In the darkness beyond, fleets of alien observers took note. Some withdrew, cautious and wary. Others, like Tavor's Dominion, began planning their final approach. "This is no ordinary human fleet," Tavor growled. "They command a weapon of ancient power, and they do so with creativity we do not understand. We underestimated them once. Never again." Far from him, in quiet corners of the galaxy, smaller civilizations debated whether to join humanity or oppose it. The story of the Revenant had shifted the balance. Humans, long considered insignificant newcomers, were now seen as unpredictable and unstoppable forces. And back on the Revenant, Patel looked at the AI interface, watching the holographic projections of the galaxy, the abandoned ships and potential threats. The words appeared slowly, glowing faintly. "Prepare. Together we will shape the stars." Juno, standing nearby, nodded slowly. "Then let's be ready. The galaxy is watching, and we're just getting started." The Revenant hummed beneath them, alive in a way no one had expected. Humanity had taken a broken ship and turned it into a symbol of hope, ingenuity, and power. But as fear spread across the stars, the crew knew one thing clearly: bigger challenges were coming. And this time the entire galaxy would notice humanity's rise. The galaxy had never seen a force like the Revenant. A single ship, born of alien design but mastered by human ingenuity, now loomed as a symbol of a new era. Yet with recognition came challenge. Across the stars, the great powers had formed a coalition determined to eliminate the human threat once and for all. Captain Juno Hayes stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the star charts. Dozens of enemy warships were moving in calculated formations, converging on Earth and the hidden shipyards around Titan. The Revenant's massive hull gleamed with power, its alien systems humming in harmony with human technology. "Status report," Juno commanded. Graves, standing beside her, reported with a calm edge to his voice. "Reactor at full capacity. Shields holding steady at 92%. Weapons fully charged. All decks operational." Patel, his eyes fixed on the AI interface, added, "And it's ready, Captain. It's aware of the enemy fleet and has predicted multiple outcomes. The Revenant suggests a combined approach, offense and defense simultaneously." Juno nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. "Then we fight smart. Humanity doesn't retreat. We advance." Far away, Admiral Tavor of the Veiled Dominion snarled at his command console. "The humans have grown bold. The Revenant, their control over it is beyond belief. Today we will end this threat." His flagship moved forward, leading the armada with ruthless precision. Energy beams streaked across space, carving lines of destruction through the darkness. This was not just a battle, it was a declaration. "Enemy fire incoming," cried the tactical officer on the Revenant. Shields flared as blasts struck the hull, some sliding off harmlessly, others causing minor vibrations. Juno's hands tightened around the armrests. "Return fire, but remember, predict, adapt, improvise. Use every advantage the ship gives us." Graves adjusted power flows, rerouting excess energy to the shields just in time. "They think overwhelming firepower is enough," he muttered. "They don't understand what this ship can do." Patel's fingers danced over the alien interface. Symbols shifted and blinked, forming calculations humans could barely comprehend. "It's guiding us." The Revenant. It's predicting every enemy maneuver. The Revenant surged forward, massive engines glowing with blue-white energy. Smaller human ships followed, a fleet of ingenuity surrounding the living giant. The enemy assumed numbers would overwhelm them, but humans were never ordinary. "Target the command ships," Juno ordered. "Break their formation and the rest will falter." The Revenant's cannons roared. Beams of alien energy shot forward, striking enemy vessels with deadly precision. One by one, the command ships shattered, explosions lighting up the void. The remaining fleet hesitated, shocked by the humans' audacity and the ship's power. "Adjust course," Juno shouted. "Divide and conquer." With impossible agility, the Revenant twisted through the battlefield, firing, dodging, and recalibrating on the fly. Human ingenuity had turned alien design into a weapon beyond imagination. Each crew member acted with confidence, trusting both themselves and the ship that had become more than metal. It was alive, and it fought alongside them. Admiral Tavor roared in frustration. "Impossible. They adapt too quickly. Every move we anticipate is already countered." But there was no time to dwell on failure. On the Revenant, Patel watched the enemy fleet scatter. "They're breaking," he whispered. "All of them. They can't recover from this." Juno didn't relax. "Maintain focus. Keep shields strong. The battle isn't over until it's over." The Revenant's AI suggested maneuvers, patterns that combined evasive action with maximum offense. Human ships followed, their smaller weapons striking remaining enemies from angles they could never anticipate. One by one, alien ships exploded or retreated. For the first time in centuries, humans had faced a galactic armada and emerged victorious, not through sheer numbers, but through creativity, adaptability, and courage. As the dust of battle settled, Juno allowed herself a moment to look around the bridge. Crew members were exhausted, but their eyes shone with pride. Graves wiped sweat from his brow and laughed softly. "We did it. Against all odds, we did it." Patel smiled faintly, eyes still on the AI interface. "The Revenant, it agrees. We work together." "It trusts us," Juno nodded. "And we trust it. Together, we've proven that humans are more than what others expected." But even in victory, they knew the galaxy was changing. Across distant systems, alien leaders debated their next move. Some would retreat, wary of challenging humans directly. Others would plot, planning for the next confrontation. Humanity's rise could not be ignored. The Revenant, sensing calm after the storm, projected a holographic map across the bridge. Tiny lights blinked at the edges of explored space, marking the locations of other abandoned ships. Patel gasped softly. "Other Revenants? Like this one? They're waiting." Juno's eyes widened. "And we can find them. Humanity can claim what others feared." Graves frowned. "Every step forward will bring more danger. The galaxy will not watch silently." Juno's gaze was steady. "Then we rise faster than fear. Humans survive by rising. And this ship, this crew, we are the proof." The AI interface pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Words appeared in simple human language. "Prepare. Together, we will find them all." Earth celebrated, but humanity's leaders knew this was only the beginning. Across the globe, broadcasts showed the Revenant in battle, firing massive beams that shattered alien ships. The world cheered, not just for victory, but for the proof that humans could achieve the impossible. Juno addressed her crew quietly, speaking into the communicator that reached every station on the ship. "We've won a battle today, but the war for our place in the galaxy is just beginning. We will not hide. We will not fear. Humanity is strong, clever, and resilient, and together with the Revenant, we will shape the stars." In the dark reaches of space, Tavor retreated, nursing wounds to his pride and fleet. His officers whispered among themselves, The humans, they are no longer a threat to be ignored. They are unstoppable if left unchecked. But even as alien fleets plotted revenge, humanity had taken the first step toward something greater. The Revenant had shown the galaxy that humans could adapt, create, and rise against impossible odds. Patel stood beside Juno on the bridge, staring at the stars. "Do you think there are more like it out there?" Juno nodded slowly. "Yes, and we will find them. The galaxy underestimated humans for too long. No more." The Revenant hummed beneath them, alive and aware, its alien systems now intertwined with human ingenuity. It projected a new path, a journey to unclaimed worlds, abandoned ships, and unexplored territories. "Together," Patel whispered. "Yes," Juno agreed. "Together humanity ascends." And so, with the Revenant leading the way, humanity took its place among the stars, not as followers, not as pawns, but as a force of ingenuity, courage, and hope. The galaxy had been warned. The era of humans had begun,